From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang in review. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday led the oath-taking ceremony of the National Committee Officers of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Law Association or ALA Philippines Incorporated at the President's Hall in Malacañang Palace. In his speech, the President said that the Philippines will take the lead in upholding the rule of law and promoting social stability in Southeast Asia. President Marcos Jr. said ALA's representation is vital in achieving the country's goal of a just global community amidst the critical geopolitical issues that the Philippines is being confronted with in the region. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
I congratulate the newly inducted Philippine National Committee officers and members of the ASEAN Law Association of the Philippines. I am glad to administer your oath of office today, for it signals your devotion to lend your legal expertise to promote close relations, cooperation, and mutual understanding amongst magistrates, lawyers, and teachers of law in ASEAN member countries. Your representation to international bodies such as the ALA reflects the country's continued commitment to strengthen our multilateral cooperation with our neighboring countries. This is particularly vital in achieving our goal of a just global community amidst the critical geopolitical issues that we are being confronted with in the region. We count on your insights and experience in law and the administration of justice to harmonize the respective national laws of every ASEAN country so as to achieve common consensus on concerns within our region. As you add a new chapter to the storied history of ALA Philippines, it is only fitting to honor some of our country's greatest legal luminaries who laid the foundation of your esteemed association, which include Attorney Avelino Cruz, who now chairs the ASEAN Law Institute, Chief Justice Artemio Panganiban. Thank you, Chief Justice Panganiban, for your service and dedication in leading ALA Philippines Incorporated since 2015. I am confident that as the Chairperson Emeritus, your experience and wisdom will serve as a moral compass to achieve the objectives of the ASEAN Law Association. Allow me also to take this opportunity to express my utmost support to the judiciary as it implements the Strategic Plan for Judicial Innovations 2022 to 2027. Under the leadership of Chief Justice Gesmundo and the commitment of the Associate Justices of the Supreme Court and other public servants in the judiciary, the Filipino people can now rest assured that responsive and real-time justice can be delivered. Let me take this opportunity to reiterate this administration's respect and adherence to the autonomy of the judiciary and our commitment to strengthen partnership between the executive and the judiciary. I also commend Chief Justice Gesmundo for accepting the position of Philippine National Committee Chairperson of ALA Philippines. I likewise applaud the Supreme Court for accepting the task of hosting the Council of ASEAN Chief Justice meeting alongside the ASEAN Law Association General Council meeting this coming November of this year. By taking on these challenges, you have proven that we are one with our ASEAN counterparts to facilitate legal collaboration, interconnectivity, and integration amongst them. With the election of the new Philippine National Committee officers of ALA Philippines, I'm confident the Philippines will take a lead in upholding the rule of law and promoting social stability and economic prosperity in the ASEAN region.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday announced that overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, displaced by the bankruptcies of Saudi Arabian construction companies in 2015 and 2016 have finally started receiving their much-anticipated compensation. In a video message, the president disclosed that the Overseas Filipino Bank, or OFB, and Land Bank of the Philippines have already processed 1,104 Alinma Bank indemnity checks amounting to 868.74 million pesos. The chief executive said that of the 1,104 checks, 843 have been cleared and credited in its equivalent in pesos, totaling close to 700 million pesos. President Marcos Jr. said Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman had promised him personally of the compensation during their bilateral meeting on the sidelines of the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC Summit in Bangkok, Thailand in November of 2022. The Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia made a commitment of paying 10,544 OFWs affected by the bankruptcies of Saudi construction firms 9 years ago, amounting to some 2 billion reals, or close to 30 billion pesos.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday convened with key officials of the Philippine National Police, or PNP, to discuss the current peace and order situation in the country. PNP Chief General Benjamin Acorda Jr. provided a comprehensive overview of the country's crime situation, boasting the agency's 82.48% crime solution efficiency, or CSE rate, as well as the 10.66% reduction in crime rate as of January 2024. The PNP chief also outlined its achievements since the president assumed office, covering significant triumphs against illegal drugs, loose firearms, cybercrime, e-sabong websites, kidnapping for ransom, and communist terrorist groups, or CTGs. In a press briefing after the meeting with President Marcos, General Acorda said the president instructed them to strengthen the PNP, particularly on cybersecurity. Acorda said the PNP will intensify its efforts against cybercrime down to the municipal level.
We reported our accomplishments. Although seemingly nakita natin na nag-improve yung crime statistics, na it went down by 10%. But as we dissected further these crime statistics, there is a need for us to focus on cyber crimes. Yun ang nakita natin na medyo tumaas as reported during the last quarter. And in line with that, as instructed by our president, we are intensifying, we are capacitating our police officers on the ground, especially as of previously, ang ating cybercrime group is only up to the regional level lang. But this time, we are training our personnel, and our objective is that down to the police station level, municipal level, we will have police officers who are trained to handle cybercrime or online crimes.
Chief General Benjamin Acorda Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday welcomed the latest Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA, report that showed the country's headline inflation dropped even further in January this year. In a statement, the president said the administration is committed to ease the burden of its citizens and sustain the country's growth momentum. PSA data showed that headline inflation slowed down to 2.78% from the 3.9% posted in December last year and the 8.7% registered in the same month in 2023. The January 2024 headline inflation is the lowest rate since the 2.3% recorded in October of 2020. President Marcos Jr. attributed the decrease in inflation to the 3.3% decline in food inflation compared to the 5.5% posted in the previous month. The chief executive said that the downward trend was also driven by the administration's proactive measures, including the implementation of the National Adaptation Plan and the reactivation of Task Force El Nino. President Marcos also called on the public to help the government in addressing economic challenges to build a better future for everyone under a Bagong Pilipinas or New Philippines.
Dateline Malacañang.
During the inauguration of Davao City Bulk Water Supply Project in Gumalang, Davao City, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. emphasized that the government needs to address water security. According to President Marcos, water scarcity is different nowadays and is not only a seasonal challenge like before. The chief executive said that water supply is now a long-term challenge as this is also connected to climate change. Let's listen to the message of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
I am delighted to join you today to inaugurate this Davao City Bulk Water Supply Project. It is not just about supplying Davao City with bulk water. It is also about ensuring that its people are provided with clean water and to improve their quality of life. Now, the facility has been delivering 300 million liters of water per day to over 1 million households in Davao City. The Davao City Water Supply Project is also a concrete step for us to lessen our reliance on limited groundwater by tapping the Tamugan River as a sustainable water source. This is very important as we have changed the policy and we are now starting to feel the effects of what we have been doing in the past, that is digging wells. And our aquifers are already starting to feel the effects, and they are not being replenished enough, which is ironic because we have sufficient surface water in the Philippines. The Philippines is not a dry country, and so this model that we are inaugurating here today is right in line with the policy of the shift in policy of government of taking water from surface water sources rather than from digging wells. And I'm very pleased to learn that this state-of-the-art facility is designed following the water energy nexus model, i.e. they are also producing electricity from the hydro plant which runs the plant. It enables the renewable energy through its built-in hydroelectric power, lessens reliance on our already strained electricity grid, and responds to the clamor for better environmental stewardship, more responsible management of natural resources. So, let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the teams of Apo Agua and its parent company, Aboitiz Infra Capital, and the Davao City Water District and the local government of Davao City for the unwavering dedication that was required and to bring this project to fruition. Your efforts to ensure the protection and conservation of Panigan Tamugan watershed and the management and rehabilitation of hundreds of hectares within the watershed area show that we can pursue development without compromising the environment. Thank you for showing us the deep well of potential that public-private partnerships hold, not just in securing water supply, but also in paving the way for enhanced economic growth, jobs creation, and an improved standard of living for Filipinos. What this demonstrates is a proven approach in battling water scarcity, which is no longer a seasonal challenge, but a perpetual threat that comes with climate change. It is for this reason that I continually stress the urgency of improving water security and directed agencies concerned to expedite the completion of all water projects across the country. Any disruption to the water supply, such as the one posed by the El Niño phenomenon, which we are feeling the effects of now, degrades our quality of life. It dampens our economic activity and can fuel disorder. Of all emergencies, water scarcity is the hardest to contain. It is, however, preventable with foresight, right plans, united action, and strong political will. Anticipating problems instead of letting them catch us by surprise is how we approach these challenges in the Bagong Pilipinas. We prepare for contingencies to solve problems and diffuse potential crises before they occur. We dream of building a nation of our children that proudly inherit, that our children can proudly inherit. And as such, this project is worth bequeathing to the generations that will come after us. I can only once again congratulate the Apo Agua Water Project and congratulate the Aboitiz Group for the hard work they have put in and the commitment that you have shown despite the trouble. There were many I think I heard the litany of the difficulties that you have faced from the beginning to the end. Government not playing a small part in some of those either. But the commitment that you have shown to now be able to provide this much clean, fresh water to our people. And that is not only a blessing for the families who have had to suffer through the scarcity of water supply and now are able to enjoy a sufficient water supply. And the quality of life, I think it does not need any further explanation. The quality of life between having clean water available in sufficient amount at a price that can be afforded, and having now this kind of almost unlimited supply is life-changing. And for that, we can only thank you all for the work that you have done.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday witnessed the signing of civil works contracts for the Davao Public Transport Modernization Project, or DPTMP, and at the same time led the celebration of the 125th anniversary of the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, in Davao City. In his speech, the President said, the DPTMP will serve as a template to the succeeding mass transport system in the whole country. According to the Chief Executive, the project includes 400 articulated battery electric buses, more than 500 diesel buses, which is scheduled to run through over 29 interconnected routes in the area, and when implemented, it will serve as a game changer in the country's transport system. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Today, we launch a project that will not only move people and hardworking people around with ease, but to transport their progressive city to a modern future with certainty. The words that describe this project, safe, reliable, and efficient, are in fact the same traits all Filipinos aspire to see in the communities that they live in. This project is more than bringing people and their products to their destinations safe and sound. It should be rightly viewed as a major vehicle that will bring us to a better tomorrow. This is more than just a ceremonial signing for the civil works of contracts for the Davao Public Transport Modernization Project, or the DPTMP. It is a strong reaffirmation of our commitment to develop the Davao region. It is a demonstration of our resolve to deliver what people in all regions deserve: a mass transportation system that can move commuters and commerce efficiently. There is no better place than this city to renew the pledge that there is no better time than today, the 125th anniversary of the founding of the Department of Transportation. The DOTR has a proud heritage, being gifted with the DNA to stand at the forefront of development, to surge forward to frontiers of innovation. In 1899, the first DOTR secretary, Maximo Paterno, rode a train to the inauguration of the first Philippine Republic in Malolos, Bulacan, on the same carriages that ferried our heroes to their places of honor. Those trains were the official carriers of the revolution. The railways we are building today are inspired by the same vision that they held, that a mass transport system is essential to propelling our nation to progress. For the past 1.25 century, the DOTR has built a network which has linked our islands, has eased mobility, democratized travel, fostered prosperity, and connected our people with stronger ties. In an archipelago of 7,000 plus islands and many diverse cultures, the DOTR supplied the adhesive towards national unity. The DPTMP is envisioned in the same mold of breaking barriers, enhancing accessibility, and boosting productivity. The DPTMP will field 400 articulated battery electric buses and more than 500 diesel buses with 29 interconnected routes around the locality. So once completed, this is certainly, as they call it, a game changer. This project will become the template for public transport systems in other cities in our country. As a mass transport system, this people mover will provide faster, more comfortable commutes, whilst decongesting streets filled with private vehicles and improve road traffic. As an affordable and clean mode of transport, it will neither burn a hole in the pockets of our people, nor a bigger one in our ozone layer. As a catalyst for lifestyle change, it shows by example that there are feasible alternatives to commuting by private vehicles, that these can be left behind at home without having to be late for work, for school, or for whatever you need to do around and about the places that you live. This is not a project of the DOTR alone. Its success does not entirely hinge on only the agency's own capacity. In whatever era, great undertakings like these are never solo performances. To succeed, it requires the support of the local government, the informed consent of the people, and the backing of parties who will help us bankroll this dream. As to the first, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to our local leaders for fully backing this project. Dagang salamat. As a matter of fact, this project was first envisioned in the time when it was under the auspices of Mayor Sara Duterte. As to the second, let me assure you that we treat people as joint venture partner, actively soliciting as much of their opinion and their views as possible to accommodate their sentiments into this and every other project. Our call for equitability and inclusivity covers those who will be temporarily inconvenienced by the project. On that note, we assure you that we will attend to the needs of those who will be affected during its construction. As to the third, I would like to express our gratitude to the people of the Asian Development Bank for believing in investing in our vision. Maraming salamat po. And I must point out that this is not the only large-scale project that we are undertaking together with the assistance from the ADB and from other financing institutions that have come to help the Philippines. So their support will be repaid with work that does not scrimp on the budget, nor cut corners on workmanship, nor block feedback, nor disregard deadlines. My instructions concerning projects across the board all over the country are very clear. deliver on time, on spec, and on budget. There is another instruction to all agencies that I would need to have fully complied with, of which the recent flooding in Mindanao has emphatically shown. The infrastructure we are building must not only wipe out the arrears of the past, but must respond to the needs of the present and anticipate circumstances in the future. We must build while bearing in mind the worst the future will bring, of the earth getting hotter, getting wetter, and not on outdated assumptions that no longer apply. We cannot build climate-resistant infrastructure for our children based on the rainfall and temperature records during our parents' time. The same sensitivity to emerging trends and best practices should define our pivot to commuter and commuter-friendly transit systems. And that is why I'm ordering the Secretary of Transportation, the Secretary of Finance to work in tandem to explore financing sources for the 103-kilometer Tagum-Davao-Digos Railway. Thus far, this ambitious project has been stalled by lack of funding. So let us go and hunt for the right funding engine that will pull this project to the finish line. I have been briefed that financing railway models can be creatively packaged in a hybrid way, with each component of the project underwritten by different stakeholders. Civil works, for instance, can be tendered to private investors. Rolling stock can be shouldered by official development assistance, or vice versa. There are some examples of ways we can explore different modes of financing to accelerate delivery. Of course, right-of-way is a deliverable entrusted to the government. I have mentioned these to illustrate one cardinal rule in transportation management of always being in the driver's seat of innovation. So when it comes to mobility, not all kinds of modernization requires high-tech and deep pockets, such as walkable pedestrian lanes, to give us an example. In the meantime, let us move at full speed in modernizing our airports, railways, seaports, roads, transportation hubs, and active mobility structures. This is the mission that DOTR has ahead of it. This is our ticket to a brighter future. This is an opportunity we should not miss on our way to a bagong Pilipinas.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday said that distribution of land titles will double this year compared to the 90,000 titles that were distributed to farmers in 2023. In his speech during the distribution of e-titles at the Department of Agrarian Reform, or DAR, in Region 11 at the Rizal Memorial Gym in Davao City, the President said the distribution of land titles is a step closer for farmers to achieve financial stability. In the distribution of land electronic titles to 2,600 beneficiaries in Davao City, the chief executive mentioned that the government targets to distribute all land titles under the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program, or CARP, before his term ends in 2028. President Marcos Jr. said his administration will not stop distributing land titles. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Masaya ako at nakadalaw uli ako dito sa Davao. Maraming masasayang alaala ang ibinigay ng Davaoenyo sa akin at sa aking pamilya sa nakalipas na panahon. Marami ring mga pagkakaibigang panghabang buhay ang naburito. Hindi maaaring mawala sa aking puso ang pagmamahal ng Davao sa mga tao dito. Kaya naman nagagalak ako na maging bahagi ng mahalagang pagtitipon na ito na pinangungunahan ng Department of Agrarian Reform, kung saan tayo ay namimigay ng mga titulo sa ating mga magsasaka na matagal nang nag-aantay na magkaroon ng sariling lupa. na matagal na nagsimula itong proseso na ito dahil nilagdaan ng aking ama ang Presidential Decree number 27 na naglalayong magdulot ng tunay na kalayaan sa mga magsasaka mula sa pagkabihag sa lupa. Kaya't ipinagmalaki ko na minana ko ang pagmamahal at pagpapahalaga ng aking ama sa ating mga magsasaka. Kaya naman, talagang pampatawa na mahirap kong makita, nakakadurog po ng puso, na makita na hanggang ngayon, ang pinakamahirap sa ating bansa ay ang mga magsasaka. Kayo ang nagpapakain sa amin, hindi nyo magpakain ang pamilya ninyo. Kayo ang nagpapakain, nagbubuhay sa buong Pilipinas, sa lahat ng mga Pilipino. Ngunit ang tulong na nanggagaling sa ating pamahalaan, nanggagaling sa ating lipunan, ay napakaliit naman. Kaya ito ipapalitan natin. At hindi na tayo papayag na ang pinakamahirap na hanap buhay ay ang magsasaka. Mahirap naman talaga. Kahit anong gawin natin, mahirap ang magsaka. Kaya kailangan ng tulong ng ating mga magsasaka, ang lahat ng tulong na maibigay ng pamahalaan at ang pribadong sektor kasama din dyan. Ang lahat ng tulong na maibibigay ay ibibigay namin para naman ay masabi natin maganda ang maging hanap buhay ng ating mga magsasaka. Kaya naman, pagkaupo ko bilang Pangulo, ipinalam ko sa bayan, sa aking unang SONA, na ipapagpatuloy ko at higit na pagbubutihin ang tunay na reformang agraryo na sinimulan ng aking ama. Sa pakikisa tulong ng Kongreso, nilagdaan natin ang batas sa loob ng unang taon ng aking pamumuno, ang New Agrarian Emancipation Act. Dahil po sa batas na ito, ang pagkakautang ng mahigit ng 600,000 na agrarian reform beneficiaries ay hindi nasisingilin pa ng pamahalaan. Layunin kong matapos ang pamamahagi ng lahat ng lupang saklaw ng CARP bago matapos ang aking termino. Kaya't natutuwa ko na masigasig ang DAR sa pamimigay ng mga titulo. Patunay sa sipag ng DAR ay ang mahigit na 90,000 na titulo na naipamahagi noong 2023, nakaraang taon. Lagpas ng 40,000 sa target na 50,000 sana lang na titulo. Umaasa ako na dadami o dodoble pa at sa taon na 2024. Ang mahigit na 2,000 titulo na ipapamahagi natin ngayon dito sa Davao ay magandang simula at simula lamang para sa 2024. Ang pamimigay ng titulo sa ating mga magsasaka ay unang hakbang lamang sa pagkamit ng kanilang kalayaan sa kahirapan. Ang kalayaan sa gutom at kahirapan ng magsasaka at ang pagsisiguro ng sapat na pagkain para sa bawat Pilipino ay hindi makakamit sa pamamagitan ng pagpapamahagi ng titulo o lupa lamang. Kaya naman, sinasabi ko na dapat gawing totoo ang kasama sa Agrarian Reform Act. Ang Agrarian Reform Act po ay hindi lamang nagbibigay ng titulo ng lupa. Patuloy ang suporta pagkatapos dahil kung wala namang suporta ang ating mga magsasaka kahit na may hawak na titulo, hindi kayang magsaka yan. Kaya't yung access sa mga processing machines, sa mga yung ginawa ng Land Bank na ginawang mas streamline yung access to credit para mas madaling magpautang at kaya naman ng magsasakang bayaran. Kaya naman, inubuhos ngayon ng pamahalaan ang mga serbisyo at ayudang kailangan ng mga magsasaka. Ilan sa mga ito, ang mga libreng punla, abono, at mga kagamitan ng pangsaka. Kailangan din ng mga karagdagang infrastruktura kung kaya naman nagpapagawa rin tayo ng mga bodega at kalsadang malalapit sa sakahan sa pamilihan para hindi kayo nahihirapan dalhin ang inyong ani ay mula sa pinagsasakahan ninyo hanggang doon sa palengke para bababa pati ang presyo, mas malaki ang kikitain ng ating magsasaka. Kaya't inaanyayahan ko po kayong lahat na magtulungan at sa pagtataguyod ng kapakanan ng ating mga magsasaka. Tulungan natin silang magkaahon sa kahirapan at mapaunlad ang kanilang kabuhayan sa pamamagitan ng mga makabagong pamamaraan mula sa pag-aararo, pagtatanim, pag-aani hanggang sa pagbebenta sa merkado. Sama-sama at kapit-bisig po tayo sa pagpapayabong ng agrikultura ng bansa sa pagkamit ng mas masaganang bukas para sa ating lahat, para sa lahat ng Pilipinas. Sa aking mga minamahal na Dabawenyo, daghang salamat sa inyong patuloy na pakikiisa at sa ating pagsulong tungo sa bagong Pilipinas.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday approved the release of 265 million pesos under the Presidential Social Fund for the immediate help to those affected by the calamity in Mindanao. This is aside from the emergency cash assistance given by the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD due to flooding, heavy rains, and landslides being experienced in the region due to a shear line. In a situation briefing in Davao City, the President emphasized that victims not only need food but also buy the things that they need. The Chief Executive said that the Emergency Cash Transfer System or ECT of the DSWD will be used as financial assistance. According to DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian, President Marcos Jr. ordered the immediate distribution of the said cash assistance. Of the amount, 30 million pesos is allotted to the 127 villages of Davao del Norte, 125 towns in Davao Oriental, 154 villages in Davao de Oro, and 152 towns in Agusan del Sur province. Another 25 million pesos will be handed over to the provinces of Surigao del Sur and Maguindanao del Sur. 20 million pesos for the 11 towns in Davao City, 11 villages in Butuan City, and 9 towns in the province of Davao Occidental, while 15 million pesos is allotted to the province of Agusan del Norte and another 10 million pesos to the provinces of Cotabato and Bukidnon.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday led the 17th meeting of the National Government Bangsamoro Government Intergovernmental Relations Body or IGRB at the Philippine International Convention Center or PICC in Pasay City. The IGRB is composed of 20 members from the national and Bangsamoro governments and led by its co-chairpersons, Department of Budget and Management or DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman and Minister Mohager Iqbal. Its mandate is to address intergovernmental conflicts, fiscal policy, and resource allocation to support the governance and development of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao or BARM. In his speech, the President said, the goal of building a Bagong Pilipinas or New Philippines could not be realized if the BARM lags behind. The Chief Executive said the frank and forthright IGRB discussions are vital in achieving genuine peace, stressing that the shared vision for the Bangsamoro region will only be fully realized if there is mutual trust. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Today, I join you, brothers and sisters, in the observance of the Laylatul Isra wal Miraj, or the night journey and ascension of Prophet Muhammad into heaven, at a period in his life when he was facing intense hardship. This meeting of the National Government and Bangsamoro Government Intergovernmental Relations Body, or IGRB, the sixth under my administration, and the first meeting for this year, reaffirms our shared commitment not just to peace, but to peace with progress. It builds on the gains of the past, fueled by mutual trust, guided by lessons learned, and inspired by the many wins which give us the confidence that our shared vision for the Bangsamoro will be fully realized. That we have been pursuing our commitments with urgency is shown in the activation of all the 7 mechanisms of the IGRB in less than 2 years. We are acting with dispatch, not because of the deadlines that we have set for ourselves, but because the people battered by war for years should not be denied their destiny to live in peace. The IGRB discussions, I understand, were frank and forthright. And that, my friends, is how peace is forged, through the honest exchange of ideas. That is also how peace is made durable, by allowing all parties to speak with candor. This democratic hallmark of finding common ground through consensus, not conflict, is what also led to the rich harvest of Bangsamoro enacted laws. I congratulate the Bangsamoro Transitional Authority for passing the Bangsamoro Administrative Code, the Bangsamoro Civil Service Code, the Bangsamoro Education Code, the Bangsamoro Electoral Code, the Bangsamoro Local Governance Code. For these are the major pillars in strengthening the rule of law upon which peace is founded. These will be the institutions to which you will hold fast as you build your government and you bring our people to progress. I would even venture to say that Bagong Pilipinas is incomplete without a Bangsamoro rising along within it. At meron nga tayong mga bagong programa upang makamit natin lahat ng tunay na kaunlaran at kapayapaan para sa Bangsamoro. The peace we are enjoying has not only won the hearts of our people, but recognition around the world. Last November, we signed and exchanged diplomatic notes with Prime Minister Fumio Kishida of Japan on the non-project grant aid for the acquisition of $6.8 million worth of construction equipment for road network improvement and disaster quick response operation in BARM. In July last year, we signed the guidelines of the joint award of petroleum service contracts and coal operating contracts in BARM. This is one of the many activities that will guarantee an important kind of security for BARM, and that is energy security. Because the painful truth is that a politically empowered people living in darkness are not fully empowered at all. What I have mentioned are on top of the continuing engagements of the United Nations, of JICA, the European Union, on programs that strengthen governance institutions, public services, and financial administration. Another feather in your cap is the success of the Bangsamoro Board of Investments in generating 3.3 billion pesos worth of investments in the last 3 months of 2023, which will employ 1,927 workers. And I am sure these are just a few entries into your thick catalog of achievements. They just highlight the things that matter most to our people, for whom we are walking the hard but high road to peace. Because peace is neither found in the documents that we exchange, nor in the elegant prose of our agreements, nor in the minutes of these meetings. Peace to our people is found in jobs created, schools opened, farms irrigated, new hospitals opened, roads constructed, businesses launched. To us, there is only one true peace when the bloody tally of war is replaced with a scoreboard of development. And that scoreboard shows that peace has won and the war is over. The preparations we have made will be tested in May 2025, when we will hold the very first elections for the BARM Parliament. Giving the vote to the people to choose their leaders is the logical succession, evolution to the grant of self-rule to your land. I urge all of you, and we will be by your side, to make this very historic election, this very historical and important event a success. Let us show the world that it is peaceful and it is credible. On this, let me be blunt, that perhaps we must remind ourselves that we are now operating under different rules and that we cannot allow forces outside of the democratic process to deviate our dreams from our aspirations from a democratic process. Let us not allow even one single voter to be disenfranchised by violence, by intimidation, or by bribery. That is the job we have in front of us. And after the elections, it will be a new chapter for BARM. I face the future with optimism. What gives me hope is the belief that you have prepared well. You are right. You are ready. And so this early, let me commend the peacekeepers who are here for their untiring spade work, for building out of the ashes of war, the magnificent edifice of peace that is BARM, building it brick by brick. And as we mark this historic day, let us never forget the debt that we owe to those who perished during the long night from all sides, brothers all, combatants and civilians, whose blood nourished the land so peace can finally bloom. But above all, we owe this to our children, to our grandchildren, that the horrors and the harrows of the past must never visit them again. That as brothers and sisters united under one nation, we can forge a better future in a kinder society, where opportunities reward hard work, dreams can come true, and peace with justice will reign. A stronger BARM means a stronger Mindanao. A stronger Mindanao. A stronger Mindanao means a stronger Philippines, bringing us closer to achieving our agendas. I congratulate you once again. I thank you, and I wish you all the best in all your endeavors. Mabuhay ang BARM, mabuhay ang bagong Pilipinas.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday opposed the call to separate Mindanao from the Philippines, saying it is a grave violation of the Constitution. In his speech during the commemoration of the Constitution Day at the Makati Shangri-La, the president said that the call for the separation of Mindanao is doomed to fail, for it is anchored on a false premise, not to mention a sheer constitutional travesty. As the country's president, President Marcos said, it is his sworn duty to preserve and defend the Constitution. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. at the commemoration of the Constitution Day.
It's with great pleasure to join you all today to commemorate this year's Constitution Day. My gratitude goes to the Philippine Constitution Association for its very kind invitation. The commemoration of the Constitution Day this year comes at with such propitious timing. Certainly, it is known to everyone here that constitutional issues have recently been brought to the fore, which bear tremendous impact on our national consciousness. I will not stand idly by, but rather will proactively confront these issues head-on. For it is my sworn duty as elected president to preserve and defend the Constitution, and also to ensure that laws, especially the fundamental law of the land, are faithfully executed. Moreover, as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and having control and supervision over our police forces, I bear the paramount mandates of maintaining peace and order in our land and in preserving our national territory and security. But these heavy responsibilities are not mine alone. The other great branches derive their authority and mandate from the Constitution, of which the judiciary stands as a final bulwark. Our armed forces and police are equally under oath to defend our republic and our constitutional order. As citizens, we all have sworn to defend our country and its most cherished ideas. Lahat tayo ay nanumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas at sa bansang kanyang sinasagisan. Nanumpa rin tayo na ating tutuparin ang mga tungkulin ng mamamayang makabayan. As members of PhilConsa, you have distinctly sworn to defend, protect, and preserve the Constitution. You also vowed to propagate and promote obedience to the Constitution as an integral part of the people's adherence to law and order. My predecessor has once declared before this august body that the Constitution is our unifying factor. Painstakingly, our progenitors have made this pact for us to be one and united. Once we start to destroy the Constitution, there will be a breakage in our society. So it must be. So we must also honor our word. Let us not betray the sacred oath that we have made. We must safeguard our Constitution's primacy and adhere to its provisions, procedures, and precepts. As citizens, we have inherited and assumed these for the sake of the continuity of our nation's legacy. We must then faithfully and vigilantly perform these integral civic duties of ours, lest we lay to waste the great vision and sacrifices of our heroes and our forefathers. The new call for a separate Mindanao is doomed to fail, for it is anchored on a false premise, not to mention a sheer constitutional travesty. The current leadership of BARM itself has repudiated this preposterous proposal. And so did the other political leaders of Mindanao. Because there can be, as in fact there is already, genuine and effective local autonomy throughout our country, especially in the BARM, without compromising our national integrity in the slightest degree. I strongly appeal to all concerned to stop this call for a separate Mindanao. It is a grave violation of the Constitution. Hindi ito ang bagong Pilipinas na ating hinuhubog. Bagkus, ito ay pagwasak mismo sa ating bansang Pilipinas. Our Constitution calls for a united, undivided country. It calls for eternal cohesion. For this reason, unlike other constitutions, there is nothing in ours that allows the breaking up of this union, such as an exit provision. On the contrary, our Constitution does not recognize a right to rebellion, while our criminal laws punish it. Government has sternly enforced these laws to the letter and spirit, and this administration will be no exception. I have said it before, and I will say it again here. Our national territory will not be diminished, even by 1 square inch. We will continue to defend it against any and all threats, external and internal. We will not allow even an iota of a suggestion of its breaking apart. On this part of the Constitution, there is simply no dynamism or flexibility. This is my guarantee, not only throughout this term, but up to my dying breath. Fittingly, as I said 2 weeks ago during the 125th anniversary of the establishment of the First Republic, a divided republic cannot prosper. It was unity that made us rise from our pandemic challenges And under the banner of the rule of law and supremacy of our Constitution, our unity, both of our people and of our territorial domain, will continue to fuel our ascent and the further pursuit of our collective goals and aspirations as a nation. We must then galvanize our people and rally them to preserve the Republic and everything that our flag symbolizes, its 3 stars and its sun. Huwag natin talikuran ang ating panata. Huwag natin payagang mabaliwala ang lahat ng mga pinaglaban ng ating mga ninunot mga bayani. Our country's economic well-being is a distinctly important concern. Many sectors of society, particularly business, have pointed to certain economic provisions in the Constitution that inhibit our growth momentum. Anchored on these restricted provisions, there are laws that prohibit certain kinds of foreign investment and thus limit our economic potential and our global competitiveness. That is why, since the 8th Congress, there have been no less than 300 measures filed in the House of Representatives calling for the amendment of these economic provisions of our Constitution. And we must allow this healthy and democratic debate to rage on, engaging and informing the minds of our citizenry, especially since the socio-economic development of our country is directly involved. I will neither hinder this dialogue nor encroach on the prerogatives of Congress and the sovereign will of the Filipino people. Our bicameral Congress and our built-in system of checks and balances are wonders to behold. We must allow our democratic institutions and their mechanisms made possible by our constitutional order to take their natural course. I want to make it clear, this administration's position in introducing reforms to our Constitution extend to economic matters alone, or those strategically aimed at boosting our country's economy. Nothing more. In any event, this administration is going to push hard to attract more foreign investments to significantly help us achieve our ambition of upper middle class status by 2025. Despite nearly 16% decrement in our net foreign direct investment inflows, our economy continues to grow and is expected to grow further by between 6.5% to 7.5% in this year, 2024. Over the decades, PhilConsa has stood witness to 2 constitutional changes and countless constitutional issues. Dutifully, you have proven yourselves to be a proactive witness and defender of our constitutions, past and present. It is once again being called upon for its role as the Constitution's vanguard. So I call to you, join me, your President, and your legitimate civilian government at the forefront in defending the sanctity of the Constitution, the territorial integrity of our country, and the sovereign will of the Filipino people. Rest assured, as President of our great Republic, I will continue to live up to the recognition that you have bestowed upon me almost a decade ago as a great protector of the Constitution.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our post as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.